Donald Trump did something else today that will shake up Australia and could even save some children here. He ordered an attack on gender politics, and especially on the fantasy that a man can become a woman just by saying so, or maybe having surgery.
This week, I will also end the government policy of trying to socially engineer race and gender into every aspect of public and private life. We will forge a society that is colorblind and merit-based. As of today, it will henceforth be the official policy of the United States government that there are only two genders, male and female.
Joining me is the panel, child psychologist Claire Rowe and Danica DiGiorgio, host of a very own show here on Sky at 5 p.m. on Fridays. Claire, there are actually two aspects of this I want to talk about tonight. The first, this is not just about culture wars. This is also about ending an ideological crusade that has even some children mutilated if they decide, look, I'm of the opposite sex or an indeterminate sex. This has to be good, doesn't it? And has to be followed by action in Australia at last.
Yes, I agree, Andrew. And I think my take on this today was I think it's a very sad reflection of a society when we actually need executive orders from a president. They're not laws, but they're a very strong direction to direct state-run institutions and government departments away from multiple genders and radical gender ideology. And I think, like most things, there was a very, very brief moment there in history where the conversation around gender was actually about supporting the very few minority of people with gender distress and transgender people, which I will always advocate are treated with respect and dignity. But I think somewhere very quickly, without really the general public realising it, the movement very much shifted. And what started, I think, as a call for inclusiveness and understanding transformed into this ideological mandate for people. I mean, it didn't demand respect for differing opinions. It actually demanded conformity, and that if you didn't conform to that, even if that went against your own beliefs, values, religion, your own scientific understanding, any dissent has been met with hostility. And so the conversation has become one-sided. And as you said, as regards to children, as a child psychologist, I've been concerned about this for years. The absolute age that gender ideology is being taught is just absurd on a developmental and cognitive level, that 5-year-olds are trying to work out who they are. They couldn't possibly grapple with the question of, what pronouns would you like to use today? It doesn't make any scientific sense, and that's what we need to come back to.
I know. I had Danica DiGiorgio over the holidays. I was talking to a prominent surgeon who expressed his concern. He doesn't do these procedures himself, but some of his colleagues were giving surgical interventions to children under 18 who claim they're in the wrong body. I mean, it's just insane. This has got to be tackled.
Well, of course it's got to be tackled, because these kids are going to one day wake up and it's going to cause them more harm. It is extraordinary that we have to have executive orders by a president of the United States just to identify what really is actually very simple, that there is a man and there is a woman. And I think what's happened is that the left have really hijacked the debate over the years, Andrew, and they've turned it into a real warped ideology under the guise of tolerance and acceptance, wanting to feel good about themselves due to sheer self-loathing. And this has started when men started identifying as women and started going into female-only spaces, meaning that women, the rights of women and girls, became absolutely useless. We are so far behind the United States when it comes to this. We've got politicians, Labor politicians around the country who can't even say what a woman is. And we've got self-ID laws whereby if you are a trans person, you don't have to have the surgery to change your gender on on your birth certificate. So you can walk into a female-only change room as a man, identifying as a woman, and take off all your clothes in front of little girls and women, and that is safe to do so. So we are so far behind the rest of the world, but I reckon if Peter Dutton really wants to put bold ideas on the table, then this would be a great start.